much. Yeah, so today I thought, because a load of you here, you get to see me every week. I've had one-to-ones with all of you. You know what I do, or you know some of what I do. So rather than me trying to figure out what you don't know, it's easier for me to ask you what you don't know. So have a think about what questions you might have for me. Joanne first, then Yanis, then Rachel.
Yeah, I'm always amazed when I chat to you, Rachel, just how much you do and the breadth of all the different things that you do. But I don't think I've ever asked you, have you always been self-employed, or did you have what they call a proper job before you went self-employed?
I did have a proper job. I am trained as a credit controller, and I have my membership of the Chartered Institute of Credit Managers, and I ended up becoming a corporate credit control trainer, so training credit control teams to be more proactive, writing terms and conditions, make them more end user friendly, and trained myself into redundancy 4 times. So after the 4th time, I turned around to my husband and said, I don't want to make the big cats richer. I want to make the little guys healthier and wealthier. And so I set up in 2014.
Brilliant. Thank you.
My pleasure. Yanis, you've taken your hand down, so I'm
Yeah,
guessing
well,
that
do
was
you know
your
what?
question.
I was going to ask that, but I'll change it slightly. Can we have a brief CV then of your working life from when you're a wee lady to now? Then
A brief CV, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's start with leaving school with no A levels, because I didn't get on with them. So went out and chatted to my tutor, my parents. They said, what subject do you like? Maths. It was like, right, go be an accountant. Went to be an accountant, got day release to study AAT. So I'm AAT level 3 trained, which is accountancy. But then realised that only senior partners got to speak to anybody, and I like speaking to people. So quit accountancy. Then it was suggested that I went, because I like speaking to people, cold calling. So I was cold calling advertisers, selling advertising, building control handbooks. Loved the chatting, hated the selling. Manager tried to help me become a better salesperson. Didn't work out. He approached me and he said, didn't you used to be an account? I went, yeah. He said, well, there's a job going upstairs in accounts for a credit controller. I said, all right, what's that? He went, I've no idea, go and ask them. So I went upstairs and they basically said it's problem solving and maths. I went, I'll take it. That's how I got into credit control.
Excellent. Thank you.
Rachel next, and then Marie.
Yeah, my question is, because we've spoken a lot about productivity and efficiency and focus. What is your favorite like productivity hack to get back on track? Like when things get a bit busy, what is your favorite like thing to do to kind of center yourself and reset?
Favourite thing to do, put this on aeroplane mode so you don't get any calls, you don't get any notifications, you don't get any emails. Mute every single tab on your web browser, even better, shut it down. And only have open document you're working on.
Wow. Yeah, nice.
Marie, and then Shea.
Fantastic tip like that. Yeah, I want to know more about your musical talents, Chivers. In your spare time, tell us a bit about your musical world.
My musical world. Right, I'll give you a CV of my musical world. That'll probably be easiest. Turned up at junior school. Within the first week, teacher asked who wants to learn an instrument. I put my hand up and said the violin. Went home, told my parents I was going to learn the violin because my gramps played the violin. They said to me, why don't you hang about and see what other options there are? I went home the next day with my first violin, having had my first violin lesson. Progressed from the violin onto the viola because my fingers are too long for the violin, and then joined the local church choir. Was in the first ever all-girls choir to be invited to sing at St Paul's Cathedral when the choristers were on holiday. Took up recorder, did GCSE music, was studying, which meant I had to have 3 instruments. Oh, and I had piano as well when I was younger. So my 3 instruments then were piano, viola, and treble recorder. I then took up A-level music, which meant I had to have a 4th instrument. So then I took up voice lessons. So I'm a classically trained singer. I have sung open air to 5,000 people at Tatton Park. I then got into electronic music. I then had a back operation, which meant I had to stop all my music completely. And I didn't get back into classical music because it still causes me an issue and some pain to play the viola. But what I did get back into is electronic music. So inspired by Jean-Michel Jarre, who is my musical icon, I have upstairs a laser harp, a theremin, an AX1, keyboards, and I just absolutely love playing them when I can get access to them because of the other half's Lego taking over.
Oh dear. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that, Rachel. I had no idea that you were a singer as well and that you'd sung to that many people. Thank you for sharing.
My pleasure. Shea, and then I'll come to Anne-Marie. Shea.
So it says in by your name, time and process management. I can understand what time management is. Tell me more about process management and what do you use most of your own advice in process management?
So process management. So I basically help people with time management through looking at processes, systems, procedures, but most of all mindset, because people don't get the importance of mindset. For me, the process that I put in place for a lot of my clients and that I use most is using Calendly, but getting it set up correctly. So it puts a break before and after every meeting. So I have time to get in the right mind frame for that meeting. And I have time to process that meeting before I move on to the next one. I set it up so it's restricting the number of types of meetings in a day. So it can't book me in 7 meetings in a day. I have it set up so it will automatically send out the Zoom link when someone books a meeting. So I don't have to manually send an email out and create a meeting. I have it set up so that for my power hours, it takes payment at time of booking. So I don't need to raise an invoice and do the credit control and do all the chasing. So if there is one thing you can do process-wise and systems-wise to get back control of your time, look at something like Calendly. If you don't know how to set it up correctly, give me a shout. The other thing that Calendly does when set up correctly is within the questions, if you phrase the questions correctly, you are subconsciously reminding everybody of everything you offer without them realizing that's what you're doing. Even though 90% of people who always click get to know you, they have to read through all of my services before they find that option. So that would be my top tip there. Anne-Marie.
Yeah, I was just wondering, why are you not an artist if you do all of these cool music things? And are you just like more of the, because you sound very like left brain, logical, analytical, and that's what you do in business. So is this just an outlet, or also do you approach it from a technical angle that you just master all of these instruments, or do you also feel like you're an artist in your heart?
No, so my last viola tutor, she was actually massively complimentary. I mean, she got invited to join the London Symphony Orchestra, so she was top quality tutor. And she said if I could create 8 hours a day, I could play the viola 8 hours a day to practice, I could play the viola professionally. The trouble is trying to create 8 hours a day when you're working a 40-hour week.
Yeah.
Is really difficult. So it is just, for me, it's an outlet. It's like what you do in your spare time. If you look on my YouTube channel, there's 2 videos on there of me playing the theremin. One is what I do in my spare time when I practice, which is I plug the theremin in and I waffle. And the second one is me playing it professionally in a concert with a friend of mine. And I do also play it on friends. I've been asked to do it on a couple of records to imitate instead of violin. And that was my 10 minutes up, guys. I hope that's been informative.